So I guess talking about accountability and owning things, when the opportunity came up at Wieden+Kennedy to jump overseas and go establish the Nike campaign over in China, and you wanted to take complete ownership of that. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Was I what? Sorry?
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so I got to Wieden and dream come true moment, right? And then Phil Knight had just retired and gone to the role of chairman emeritus. And they thought that they would try a new leadership structure. So they didn't promote Mark Parker into that role. They brought in someone from the outside. And it wasn't really working. And there was also a lot of friction between Nike and Wieden at the time. So I got into this job and I was like, this is supposed to be my dream job, but this is actually doesn't feel like my dream job, which is kind of heartbreaking to a 28-year-old who's been loving Nike since 12, And then we won the business in China, and it was small operation. It was 3 years before the Beijing Olympics. Just do it meant nothing in China. There was real work to be done. And I asked to go, and they said no, because I had just started at Wieden. And they're like, we like you, you're doing well, but, we got to send Wieden DNA, someone who really knows us that will go and do that. And I raised my hand, they said no. And then there started to be a couple of mistakes over there because they didn't have the right leadership in place and they were just going 100 miles an hour. So then they came back to me and they said, are you still interested? And I was like, yeah. So my boss, Dave Lohr, he said, well, this is not a job offer, but just get on a plane, go to China, check it out, and come back and let's talk. And I signed a lease while I was in China, which he did not know. And then I came back and I wrote him a note. I just said, if I don't tell you this, then it's on me. But if I tell you this and you don't send me to China, then it's on you. I was like, I'm going to do this job and I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill it. And I have a vision for it. I'm built for this. And then my boss walked up to me shortly thereafter and was like, what did you say to Dave? I was like, I just sent him an email. And she's like, well, you're moving to China.
That's awesome.
And I was gone in like a month or two.
So can we unpack that a little bit, the signing a lease? I mean, that seems like, I guess, sort of a minor detail, but that really sticks out to me because is that you saying this is happening and I'm going to do whatever it takes for this to happen?
I would have moved to China sight unseen. Like I knew that was my shot. I was at a point in my career, a point in my life where I wanted to call the shots. I wanted to win or lose on my decision making, and I knew that was going to take a long time in Portland because there was so much seniority and everyone loved it. Wieden, you never leave. You stay there 20 years. And I just was dying for like the shot. Like I wanted to call the shot. And then this incredible opportunity came up. So I would have gone sight unseen. But once I got there, it felt like New York City, but Chinese. I was like, I can do this. Yeah. And I was determined and I signed.